GTA Online has had a huge payout buff for the motorcycle club businesses in the past few months. Today, I'm going to be breaking it down. So I have the honor of owning a PlayStation 5, and when this game came out on the PlayStation 5 for the online version of Grand Theft Auto 5, it got a little bit of an update and some higher payouts. The craziest thing about me making this video is that I scoured the internet trying to find what the actual payout increases were, but I couldn't. It seemed like nobody actually posted online what the differences are, so it looks like I'm gonna have to do all the research myself. Fun. This actually took me hours of waiting next to my master control, so I let my character spin so that the game did not kick me, and every hour I would come back to check on it. This took me quite a while, as you can imagine. Also, this is the very first time that I'm ever doing an in-depth breakdown of the MC businesses. All these businesses are all passive. You can actually do other things while you let these businesses build up, as long as you keep your stock up. The first thing you will need to do, obviously, is buy a motorcycle club in the Maze Bank foreclosure website. When you buy one or get a free one, depending on if you choose the MC club owner when you start up the game for the first time, the one thing that you should know is that there are contracts that you can actually do inside the clubhouse, but they don't really pay the best. Even with the increased payouts, I think now they might be like $60,000 each, but I'm not 100% sure. But I know they used to be a little bit more than $30,000 each. But anyways, more about the MC businesses. Just go inside and get on your computer into the main office of the building. It'll be marked on your minimap with a little computer icon. Once you get there will be 5 types of businesses that you can purchase. You have the Coke Factory, then there's the Meth Lab, then there's the Counterfeit Cash, the Weed, and finally the Document Forgery business. Once you're on the screen that shows you all of the businesses, you can just buy every one of them, except for maybe the Document Forgery. I mean, you can buy it if you want to, but to be honest, it's pretty useless and you barely make any money off of it. Honestly, between me and whoever's watching this video, I actually wish that I can sell mine just to kind of get rid of it, but that's not an option to do that, so it literally just kind of sits there, and I barely sell it at any time, honestly. Now, when you buy each business, you have to get each business set up. You have to first do a quick-ish little setup mission to get your staff and get your first bit of product. When you finish your first setup mission and you have your first bit of product, like I said earlier, these are passive businesses. So when you walk into your business location, you'll have 2 bars on the bottom right hand corner of your screen. One is for the product and one is for the supply. The product is obviously what you're going to sell, and the supply is what your workers are going to use to build up your product. I hope that makes sense. When the supply bar is full, your workers will make the product for you as you are doing other things. To get supplies, you can either steal the supplies or buy full stock of supplies for $75,000, which that is what I recommend. I don't recommend doing the stealing supplies mission because it just takes too long and it's not really worth the time that it would take for you to make money some other way. So yeah, just go ahead and buy the product instead of stealing it. Before you begin, I do recommend getting the upgrades for your businesses as well. There is a staff, equipment, and security upgrade, and it's probably better that you have them all if you can afford it. The staff upgrade gets your product to fill up faster. Your equipment upgrade lets your business store more product so that you can get more money. And the security upgrade helps prevent from NPCs raiding your business. But the kicker is that doesn't matter half the time because your business is still getting raided quite often. It's very annoying, and that's why the only time I ever register as an MC president is if I'm actually selling my MC Biker goods. That's why you never see me register. Another quick tip that I learned from MJW is that if you're standing in your business and you're registered as an MC president, you never get raided. Who knew? But of course, if you're standing next to your master terminal in your arcade, you will get raided. I guess I should say that this equipment upgrade only really works on other motorcycle clubs raiding your motorcycle club business. But as far as the police, they still raid it all the time, which is why I'm not a big fan of registering as an MC president unless I am just gonna sell everything. And even then, after every single mission, I disband it every time until I actually get into the facility, then I'll do it again. Seems kind of annoying, but I do that just in case I don't want to lose my stuff. Now I'm going to finally break down how much money you're going to actually get from each business, and I'm going to be comparing it from now compared to what it used to be. Starting off with the cocaine lockup, it used to get you about $420,000 if you are fully upgraded and fully stocked. But now on the next gen consoles, Rockstar had increased it from $420,000, and now you would get a full profit of $525,000 fully upgraded. And of course, I probably should let you know that this also depends on where you decide to sell it. If you decide to sell it closer, then you'll get a little bit less money. As you can see on your screen here, if you decide to sell it closer, you will only get $350,000. But always choose the higher number. So I'm not even going to really talk about this going forward. Just remember that, always go for the higher number. Next up, we got the Meth Lab. It used to pay out about $357,000 fully upgraded, but now they've increased it to $446,250, so it's quite a decent sized upgrade. And now for the counterfeit cash. On last gen consoles, you used to get about $294,000 if it is fully decked out in upgrades. Now you will get a maximum total of $376,000. Now moving on to the weed, it used to accumulate about $252,000 fully upgraded, of course, and now on the next gen console it is $350,000 fully upgraded. Now for the worst business to own, the document forgery. If you decide to get one of these businesses, this is what you'll get out of it. A fully upgraded document forgery used to be $126,000. Yeah. That's every 5 hours of gameplay. Like I said, there are so many better ways to make money than this. And for the next gen console, not like it's gonna get too much better, you only get $157,000. Yeah, I guess Rockstar was kind of stuck with this being the worst business anyways. And if you look on the screen, I classified these as best to worst, and look at the huge jump. It goes from $350,000 to $157,000. That's too much. That's like a $250,000 difference. Why even bother with this stupid document forgery? It makes no sense to me. The next thing that I do want to go over, I want to try to keep this brief, but it is pretty elaborate, is the nightclub business. I want to go over this because it kind of ties into your motorcycle club businesses as well. I'm not going to go into the full schematics of this though, because it is extremely complicated. All you really need to know is that in order to keep this business running in full, you have to have all your other businesses running as well, and not just your biker businesses, your CEO's businesses as well. So just a quick little overlay. After purchasing a nightclub off of the Maze Bank foreclosure website, you just walk in and access your computer. You will have 5 warehouse technicians that you can set to each one of your businesses. Oddly enough, there are actually 7 businesses if you actually own all of them. Why Rockstar gave us only 5 technicians, I will never know. So this is another passive business. Cargoes and Shipments is obviously your special cargo warehouse. Sporting Goods is your bunker for weapons. South American Imports is of course cocaine. Research Pharmaceutical is meth. Organic Produce is weed. Printing and Copying is document forgery. And Cash Creation of course is counterfeit cash. As you can see by those little check marks and the picture of the little guy, that my technicians are selected for Sporting Goods, South American Imports, Pharmaceutical Research, Organic Produce, and Cash Creation. I did that on purpose. The reason I did that is because the Cargo and Shipments one will only accumulate if you're actually running special cargo, and of course the Printing and Copying will only do its thing if the document forgery is going up and down and basically being ran, which I don't run document forgery at all. And the special cargo I only do either on special weeks or if I want to do some RP grinding or something like that. To make that make sense, I have to explain one quick little thing. Your businesses outside of your nightclub have to be continuously flowing in and out in order to accumulate product in your nightclub warehouse. One thing I do want to tell you before moving on from this, the cool thing about selling your nightclub goods is that there's always only one vehicle. But the thing is, there are 3 different vehicles in 3 different sizes depending on how much product you actually have to sell. Your nightclub automatically comes with this little minivan thing, and I'm not exactly sure how much you actually will need to get in order to buy a new vehicle, because there is a certain point where it won't let you sell unless you purchase a bigger vehicle, which that does kind of suck, to be honest. First vehicle I suggest buying from Warstock is a Mule Custom. Make sure it says the word custom. A regular mule, this won't work on.
A mule is like your mid-grade. If you only have like a pounder custom, which is what I had for a long time, that's your bigger vehicle. You will always, anytime anything won't fit in your van, you will always need your pounder custom, and it could just get a little bit too big. But the next one you want to buy is a pounder custom from Warstock. Pounder customs are your gigantic vehicles. So if you have like, I think it's like $500,000 or $600,000 worth of stock, then you'll be using your pounder custom. Alright, so I've been talking a lot about stuff that I really didn't want to get into, so we're going to go ahead and move on now to some sell missions. There are 9 different types of sell missions to sell your supplies. 8 of these missions, you can 100% complete them by yourself, but it will most likely take the full amount of time, which is 30 minutes. So I recommend regardless just do them with a friend. However, there is one type of mission that is bound to not get everything delivered with a timely fashion, and you're most likely going to run out of time, and that is if you have a full production bar. When you're inside your business, if you look at your bars, for every 1.5 of these bars, they will add an additional delivery vehicle, again depending on what it is. Let's break it down real quick. One of the best sell missions that you can get is if you have 4 motorcycles to deliver it back on a truck. This one is super easy and you can definitely get it done solo, but it may take the full duration of the 30 minutes depending on if you choose the further location, which is always the higher payout. That's the one that I suggest you go with every single time you sell. The next one is the boats mission. This one is definitely one of my most favorite ones to do because again it is super easy. The only real trouble is that you will need something that flies to actually get to the starting location 9 times out of 10. If you don't have anything that flies, you can just forget about delivering everything. So I recommend using your Oppressor Mach 2 or a Sparrow or just something like that. Next up, we have the Courier Service or the post-op vans. This one is the one that I was telling you about that you are going to need help because the object of this one is that you get in a van, which in this one I don't believe there's any more than actually 3 normally. But when you get into a van, you have to go to 5 locations for each van. But every time you get to the location, you actually have to get out of the vehicle and deliver to the door, just like a courier service like UPS or FedEx. If you're doing this by yourself, odds are you're not going to get this one done completely. So anytime that I'm doing this solo and I come up to this mission, I just usually find a new invite only session. Because with this previous update, I try to utilize the invite only sessions, which is something that I do recommend doing. Use the invite only sessions to do these sell missions. You don't want to get griefed. Once you load back in, you will only lose about $10,000 worth of supplies. But what I normally do is make sure that my supplies are fully stocked before I actually switch out of the sessions, and then I go to another business, if there is another one that I need to sell. Because by the time I go back around in full circle, the one that I lost should be filled back up again. Another really difficult one is the trash truck mission, which is kind of similar to the post-op vans, except you don't have to exit your vehicle every time you go to a location. These ones aren't extremely horrible, but I still recommend using a friend or something because if you're not really fast, you could lose some stock just because of how slow the trucks are. But I mean, it's not as bad as the post-op van. It's still very possible, but you might be down to like a minute by the time you actually finish it. The rest of the sell missions are actually pretty self-explanatory. I don't really need to go into too much detail. The rest of them are really easy and you're bound to make the full sale when you're solo. There's one last thing that I do want to talk to you guys about before I cut this video off, and that is the arcade. If you have an arcade, it would be very wise for you to go into your arcade computer and purchase a master control system. They are a little bit expensive, but trust me, they are completely worth it. These master controls are your one-stop shop for every single business. And I mean every business, even your CEO businesses, not just your MC. You can buy product right here or steal the product if that's what you choose to do, which I still don't recommend. But you can also start sell missions from right here if you choose to, but again, I don't recommend doing that either because you still have to go all the way to your business to get into a vehicle or wherever the mission is started. So that one is actually just better to start from your actual business. And that's about it. I think that's about everything you might need to know about your MC businesses. Just your MC businesses. There are a ton of other things that you can get into in this game. And one other thing, if you do want to make a little extra money, you can do this in a full session with some friends or solo, whatever you really choose to. I'm not exactly sure how much it will increase, but it is pretty significant. At least $100,000 per other motorcycle club, depending on how big the session is. So just take a note of that. Of course, I still recommend doing this in an invite only, always, just because it's just, at the end of the day, it's not really worth trying to escape from griefers.
Anyways, this video went on way longer than I actually wanted it to, and I hope you guys found it useful and now have a better understanding of how these MC businesses actually work. Now you know you can definitely benefit from them. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to leave it a like and subscribe if you are new, and thank you for watching, and I will see you guys, or at least you will see me and hear my voice in the next video. Bye.